must I feel like that? Why must I chase the cat?
Nothing but the dog in me.
Why must I chase the cat?
You had to put in that last little snap and twirl, right? Good evening and welcome to Posse Presents. It is the night before Easter, and of course, you know, what would a holiday be without me taking the opportunity to be a soapbox superstar and beg everyone to please make it a safe holiday for your pets. Everybody should have a good time. And, you know, I say it all the time, you're going to have people in and out of your house if you have company, if you have pets. Just use caution about how people are around your animals. You know, if you can gate them off, put them in a room, it's not because they're not part of the family, but it's for their safety. You know, it's another candy holiday, and candy is a problem for your pets, as well as some of the other stuff that come in Easter baskets. I'm also going to say, if you're one of those people who is buying your kids rabbits or chicks or ducks for Easter, you're an idiot. Don't do it. You're not going to keep those animals. You know, most rabbits die before their first birthday because people just are irresponsible. So no live animals for Christmas, for Easter, for any holiday. It's really not a good idea, especially around Easter time. People get like that urge for the real bunnies and the real chicks and the real ducks. You know what? Stuffed animals are great. Chocolate bunnies are wonderful. You don't have to put an animal at risk because you think it's cute, because the cute's not going to last. All of those animals have a lifespan that you're probably not going to expect. They require food and housing and cleanup, and it's, you know, it's a lot of work. So don't do it unless you can make the commitment. So that's that part of my little soapbox, but of course there's always more. The Easter hazards for pets are pretty common sense, but that's if you have common sense. There was a reminder article published by the ASPCA. Chocolate, the darker the chocolate, the less it takes to make a pet sick. You know, they can get tummy troubles, they can get, you know, heart palpitations. There's a lot of stuff in chocolate that's, you know, not good for them. So again, the darker the chocolate, the more the danger. Don't forget that raisins, macadamia nuts, and xylitol, which is a sweetener, are also bad for your pets. I'm going to add to that, when you've got company and you've got all that food, mind the table scraps, because those aren't good for them too. Too much of anything can make a pet sick. So, you know, if you want to give them a little taste with their dinner, that's fine. Be careful what you give them. Don't give them, you know, skins and fats or bones, never bones. But, you know, don't let everybody in the house at the table start feeding them all kinds of stuff, because that's really, it's a recipe for disaster. The plastic Easter grass, it's not just a house cleaning nightmare. That stuff can be really dangerous. That can get stuck in the intestinal tract and cause major problems that could lead to surgery. You know, that stuff can wrap around an intestine. It can cause gagging, choking. Cats love anything that, you know, travels around, and that stuff goes everywhere. You know, a little breeze will blow it, and that's all a cat needs to get interested. Dogs might be going after the candy and get some of that along with it. So be careful with what you have. You know, if you've got the plastic Easter grass, you know, once you give your kids their baskets, or whomever you're giving baskets to, take that stuff and get rid of it. You don't need it. Sure, it looks pretty, but you don't need to keep it. Just get rid of it. It's a hazard. Lilies. Lilies are pretty, but they can cause kidney injury and stomach problems in cats. Definitely not something that you want to do to your cat. It's not something you want to have to deal with going to an emergency vet, you know, because your cat is behind your back and being a cat and getting into stuff. You just keep the lilies away. If you have to have them, keep them somewhere where your cat isn't. And that's a lot more difficult to do than with a dog, because cats get wherever they want to go pretty much. A lot of people like to plant and garden this time of year. If you're gardening, keep pets away from fertilizers and herbicides until they've been watered and gone into the ground. If it's outside, keep them away from, the bags. Not good for them at all. Some people take Easter just as like, a spring day and want to do stuff, and it's that time of year anyway. We've got a poster that we're going to put up, Zach, of Easter don'ts, just as a reminder for everybody. Same things that I've just been talking about, but right there in your face. It's good to keep on hand the ASPCA Poison Control Center number. They are 24/7, 365, and their number is 888-426-4435. Once again, that's 888-426-4435. I will take the camera back. And that is really a good number to hold on to all year round, because you never know what your pets are going to get into or when they'll get into it. The holidays are just, they're an invitation for trouble, and pet owners need to be vigilant. The other thing that you really shouldn't do at all is give your pets alcohol. Don't let your guests do it. We all have that person in our world somehow that's just not pet savvy. It's inevitable. Family member you're stuck with, friends you choose, but no alcohol for the pets either. That's just a big no-no. So keep everyone safe and have a happy Easter. Alrighty, we're going to talk about some dogs. I love the town of Hempstead Animal Shelter, and the volunteers there are really wonderful. I talked last week about a group that I'm in where we sponsor promoting a dog, and there have been a few people who have started pages for their dogs and have been like real graphics wizards and made really cool posters. So I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to share. Oh, look, we've got friends. You can come in. It's okay. I'm going to show a couple of the posters, and I'm going to talk about some of the dogs. Zach, let's get the first poster up. Isn't that adorable? Somebody spent a lot of time putting that together with a lot of love, and somebody cracked that someone was going to call the shelter and try to adopt the cartoon poodle. And I can see that happening. That was a very good statement there. Anyway, the first dog that we've got is Barbell. Let's get his poster up. Again, some of these people are putting a lot of time into making posters to try to get these dogs adopted, and I give them a lot of credit because they're a lot more handy than I am, and B, really pouring their hearts into it. So Barbell, a little about him. He is bilingual. He understands both Spanish and English commands, and he is a great athlete, which I guess is where he gets his name from. I guess he's like the real muscle head of the group, He's easy to walk. He cannot be with cats, and he probably should be an only dog. He's about 1.5 years old, and he weighs in at about 52 pounds. Barbell is a handsome guy. I love that picture of him in the ring. He's probably not a real big guy. He's probably going to be a great companion for someone who likes to be active. Again, I always say that just because an animal needs to be an only pet doesn't make them a bad pet at all. It's just, they prefer the company of their humans to the company of their own kind. And, I do the reverse. I prefer the company of my animals to the company of my own kind. So, it's all good. But some of us have more than one animal and can't do it. And Others have that spot to fill. You know, you lose a pet and you can take in an only. So we're going to share Barbell and hope that he gets his only pet home. Next up, we have Faith. Faith is a beautiful girl, and this is another great little poster. She is a chocolate-colored beauty just in time for Easter. She's getting along well in a foster home, but she needs her own family. Faith, I guess, is living with other animals and kids and, you know, an actual family situation. So they know, you know, they know about her. And that's the great part about fostering. When people foster, you know, you get a lot more insight into a dog and how it's going to be in a home, you know, rather than taking a dog straight from the shelter and, you know, having to learn. So if you can grab a dog that's been in a foster home, you're kind of, you know, you're getting a little bit of a bonus there because you get a little story behind her. So that is Faith, looking for her own family. Next up, we have Marty. Marty is a beautiful boy. Believe it or not, he was shot in the face. His wounds have healed physically, but emotionally he needs out of the shelter. He's very stressed out. He's rubbing his face on the gate, you know, the fence, and he's cutting himself up a little bit. He's very stressed out. He needs a little bit of stability. He needs to be loved. He needs to know that people aren't going to hurt him. He needs a home. And, you know, Marty is just a beautiful boy. And again, somebody spent the time to make this great poster, championing for him. So if you're looking for a guy who probably going to be a really great dog once he settles down and gets the shelter out of him, I think Marty would be a really good pick. Next up, we have Ripley. Ripley, I love those bunny ears. Again, just in time for Easter. Who needs the little bunny ears when he's already got them? Somebody put together a nice little poster for him. He's been described as an ideal companion. He knows his commands and he likes to show off. He's a sweet older guy, and he as well needs to be an only pet. I believe this is the dog they said they were going to retest because he was showing some interest in other dogs. You know, sometimes a dog situation changes. They've been in a shelter for a while, and they go in on the defensive, and, you know, they kind of get more used to shelter life and the animals and the sounds, and you know, they have a little bit of a change of heart. Maybe he was never, you know, unfriendly. Maybe, you know, and I'm not just talking about him. I'm talking about, you know, these dogs in general. It's a whole new world for them to get thrown in a shelter. You know, you don't know where they came from. Maybe it wasn't the best of homes, but it was their home and it was what they were used to. So you throw a dog in a shelter and, you know, all bets are off. You really don't know how it affects them, and a lot of them do stress out. So for now, we're saying that Ripley needs to be an only pet. Next up, one of my favorites, and I've had him up here before, and I've also written an article about him, is Burger. Let's get Burger's picture up. I love this dog. He is so regal, and he is so handsome. Unfortunately, he is the second longest resident of the shelter. He was in 2 homes and returned basically for being too much dog. So that's really no fault of his own. After the second time he was returned, they had him evaluated by a trainer just to make sure everything was all right, you know. But he is a big boy. He's high energy. He's active. He's not a dog for every person. You know, it's 2 years is a long time for a dog to be in a shelter, and that's about how long it's been for him. And it's really time to push and make it right for him and get Burger into a new home. Again, the only reason why he was returned was because he was a little bit more than the family could chew. I guess he lived with a special needs kid who thrived with Burger in the house, but the family just couldn't manage everything. So that's really not Burger's fault. If you're looking for a big boy and you've got older kids and, you know, you can handle the requirements of a big, strong, active dog, then I think Burger would be an absolute wonderful choice. Again, he's the second longest resident at the shelter. It's been 2 years. It's way too long. And, you know, just to tell you what a great dog he is, he's not breaking down. He's still a big, mushy love, you know, that he always was. And again, evaluated by a trainer to make sure everything was all right. And he checks out as a great dog who just hasn't found the right family. So if you are as impressed with him as I am, he is your boy. Next up is Diesel. This is my sponsored dog. I love this boy. He is absolutely gorgeous. You know, I love the whole thing with the flowers on the head, and, you know, it just, it makes it so awesome to soften the impression that people get of them. Diesel is almost 7 years old. I mean, he's an older guy. He's still a puppy at heart, but he just, look at his face. He is a love. There are pictures of him just kissing and hugging the shelter volunteers. You know, he makes you just want to jump through the screen and scoop him up. He is, again, one of those dogs who needs to be an only, or trust me, it'd be a road trip in a heartbeat. I would love him. He's just, look at those eyes. They're so soulful. He's, you know, one of those older guys who just needs a couch to crash on, you know, a little bit of exercise, not really high maintenance, just, you know, there he is, all handsome and beautiful, and I'm in love. I can't help it. I'm thinking, you know, I just might have to make a page for him myself, but we'll see. Yes, I'm smitten. It's all good. Life goes on. Anyway, we're going to show the next poster, again, which somebody took some time to put that together, and it's really cool. If you are interested in any of these beautiful dogs, the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter is 516-785-5220. Once again, that's 516-785-5220. Or you can email animalinfo@tohmail.org. Once again, that's animalinfo@tohmail.org. I'll take the camera back, and I'm just going to throw in there that love knows no zip code. You know, just because it's on Long Island doesn't mean it's a world away. It's a couple-hour drive. It should not be a big deal to save a life, to find a friend for life, to have the love that a dog can give you, or a cat, because they do have cats too. You know, it's just, it shouldn't be too far. It shouldn't be about a zip code. Like I said, these volunteers really love these animals. And if you remember my Murdoch, my birthday dog, that's where he started out, was at Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter. So they're great people. You got to see John, who is a volunteer both at Last Hope and Town of Hempstead. And kudos to all of you who take such good care of them. Anyway, we're going to talk about some events. We've got a few of them coming up, and I'm going to try to cram them in. There is a very cool art gallery in Oakville called Funky Stuff, and they are very animal and rescue minded, which is really cool. You know, they're trying to do stuff to promote animal causes and to benefit animal causes. So, you know, that's something that I can certainly appreciate. They are hosting an art show to benefit Hidden Acres Farm and Therapeutic Riding Center on Friday, this coming Friday, which is April 1st, and that's from 6 until 8:30. You can look for previous guest on the show, Shauna Lee, who was the animal portrait artist. I believe she will be there, and I know that some of her work will be at the show, so that'll be very cool. That art gallery is at 20 Main Street in Oakville. I look forward to going because I've never been to the gallery, and I kind of know the lady who started it, and I think it's a really cool idea. And if she's going to do stuff to help the animals, I'm in. Just that plain and simple, I'm in. Also, for Hidden Acres, on Friday, April 15th, which I know is a painful day for so many, from 7 to 9 at the Naugatuck Congregational Church. It's for, you get to learn about the horses of the Hidden Acres Farm and Therapeutic Riding Center and spend some time coloring, and the pages were created by Shauna Lee, which is really cool. She spent her time and she made, the whole adult coloring thing is like all the rage now, but this is actually an event that's for all ages, which makes it really nice. So if you're interested in more information, the contact number that I'll give you, because there were several of them, I picked the one for the Naugatuck Community, the Congregational Church, is 203-729-3037. Once again, that's 203-729-3037. And I will mention that I have posted all of these events on the Pound Posse Presents Facebook page to make it easy for you guys if you miss any of this, or you want to go back, or you want to click through or whatever. Okay, so for those of you who missed a chance to see the champions, there is a screening Monday, April 4th in Berlin. Our friend Sue Torres will be there, which is really cool. The author of Loyalty Unleashed Parts 1 and 2. If you can see it, I urge you to do it, because it was just a fabulous, fabulous experience. That movie is amazing, and I highly recommend seeing it, because it was a very, very well done, emotional, but happy movie. So if you're interested in that, you can go to tugg.com for more info. That's TUGG.com. Let's see. Again, I've got that all up on the Facebook page, and that will be showing at 6:30. The address is 19 Frontage Road in Berlin. There's also another screening, A Dog Named Gucci. The final local screenings on 4/2 and 4/3, which is next Saturday and Sunday at the Collinsville Film Festival. Saturday will be from 7 to 9, and Sunday will be from 1 to 3:30. That will be at 4 Market Street in Collinsville. Again, Pound Posse Presents Facebook page has that up, as well as A Dog Named Gucci Facebook page. Now, for the hard part, unless you've been under a rock and you're on Facebook, you would know that the heavens got another bright star. Little Harley has passed away. And Zach, let's get some of those pictures up. Harley spent 10 years in a puppy mill. They were a brutal 10 years. His body was ravaged by the lack of care. He lost an eye when they power washed his cage with him in it. He became the American Humane Association hero dog, and he was a hero for everybody. Zach, yep, you can scroll through the pictures. He became at the forefront with National Mill Dog Rescue to champion against puppy mills. And I've covered those before. They're evil, awful places. There I am with Harley. It was a very great experience to be able to meet him and his parents. His parents are really, really wonderful people. Can't say enough about Dan and Rudy. there I am with Harley and his dad when we went to New York City to meet him. You know, they do so much. They loved him so much. You could see it in everything they did. But he was, you know, 15 years old. He just celebrated his 15th birthday. So, you know, life takes its toll, especially the really rough beginning that he had. You know, he was used up, basically got sick, and thrown in a bucket to die. And if it wasn't for the fact that one of the workers in the mill took pity on him and got him out of there, he would have died in a bucket like somebody's trash. So, you know, he came a long way, and he did a lot for a lot of people, you know, educating people about puppy mills and, you know, just being a sweet little dog. And the loss is raw because obviously everybody knows that I just lost my 2 old boys, so it's tough. But, you know, I wrote a letter that I'm sure a lot of people saw on Facebook that Harley's mom shared, which was really cool. I wrote an article and they shared that as well. Thanks to all the people who made the very kind comments about both of those. It was very nice to get the attention, but Harley deserves it more because, you know, he lived through hell for 10 years. Unbelievable that puppy mills still exist in this world, but they do. And so now, I guess in his honor, we really have to carry on the fight and try to end them and do what we can to put a stop to it. Don't shop, adopt. That's the key right there. You know, that little cute dog in the puppy store, definitely not your best option. You know, if you think about the hardships that the parents face, years and years and years, well beyond, you know, good guidelines, I guess, for breeding. They are forced to produce and live in filth and god-awful conditions without veterinary care. It's just really an ugly thing. So, you know, rest in peace, Harley. All the best to Dan and Rudy. We're probably about ready to wrap it up, Zach. So I'm going to say peace, love, and dogs. Until next time. I've got a little mimicker in the corner. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Men can do. And there's one thing